have a lot more. So the blame and the shame's on you for being so damn poor. It ain't the price gouging, and it ain't the inflation. It ain't everyone above you trying to make a buck from you in school and the whole congregation. I had that reduced lunch, I had the benefit cards. It never occurred to me to blame my family for life being so damn hard. I should have paid attention back when I was in school. Then I could figure up the tax, I would know a lot of facts. I missed the class where they taught the rules. I was memorizing capitals, I was in the spelling bee. I must have skipped the part where they taught the art of private equity. I was selling chocolate bars, I had a disorder. I was cutting up a frog, got lost in the fog, learning how to play recorder. If you only worked a little harder. If you worked a little harder. If you worked a little harder. If you worked a little harder, then you'd have a lot more. So the shame and the blame's on you for being so damn poor. It ain't the banks, and it ain't the taxes. It ain't the payday loans and high rent homes and predatory fees and practices. Wave your dumb flag, whatever it means. But you should ask yourself, when it comes to health of the poor, really all that free if you worked a little harder? If you worked a little harder. If you worked a little harder, you'd have a lot more. So the blame and the shame's on you for being so damn poor, yeah. War isn't murder, good men don't die, children don't starve, and all the women survive. War isn't murder, that's what they say, and you're fighting the devil. Murder's okay. War isn't murder, they're called casualties. There ain't a veteran with a good night's sleep. Let's talk about dead people. I mean dead people. The dead don't feel honor, they don't feel that brave. They don't feel avenged, they're lucky if they got graves. Call your dead mother, ask her when she died. It's a deathly silence on the other line. The dead don't talk, but their children don't forget. So in 20 short years you could live to regret that. War isn't murder, there's money at stake. Yeah, even Kushner agrees it's good at real estate. War isn't murder, ask Netanyahu. He's got a psalm for that, he's got a bomb for you. War isn't murder, it's an old desert faith. It's a nation state sanctioned righteous hate. Let's talk about dead people. I mean dead people. War isn't murder, it's the vengeance of God. If you can't see the bodies, they don't blow when they rot, and the flies don't swarm, and the children don't cry. If war isn't murder, good men don't die. So in a short 20 years where you vacation the strip, try not and think about the dead, and have a nice trip. War isn't murder, let's all give thanks. I saw it all in a movie, give it up for Tom Hanks. War isn't murder, they don't ship out the poor, and the bullets they fire ain't part of the cure. War isn't murder, land is a right, but the bank's called dibs, it's something you can't fight. Let's talk about dead people. I mean dead people. The dead don't feel honor, they don't feel that brave. They don't feel avenged, they're lucky if they got graves. Call your dead mother, ask her when she died. It's a deathly silence on the other line. The dead don't talk, but the children don't forget. So in 20 short years you could live to regret that. Everything's good until it goes bad. Wise man lives plague chain to the gain of function junction. But watch where you're stepping, they got all kinds of bioweapons begging to get loose and cause a disruption. Way out on Little Plum Island, out in the Atlantic Ocean, they studying disease, stuffing ticks and fleas, full of diabolical potions, experimenting, making germs, stirring up a pot of plague chowder. Seeing this form of study, the tick bites the bunny, then you dry the blood and mill it into a powder. Playing Willy Wonka with disease is bound to backfire in time. And what would you know, strange symptoms started to show just across the water in a town called Lyme. Everything's good until it goes bad. Wise man lives a long way from the lab. Now 500,000 people a year get the strange disease called Lyme. Chronic fatigue and makes you weak in the knees. More people getting it all the time, and the rent's always due on your government flu, and the rent is getting high. Lyme won't kill you, but the folks will tell you, you just as soon wish you would die. Make a problem, fix a problem, go and get an award. That's U.S. medicine. The biggest threat isn't telling the truth, and buddy, that's for sure. Everything's good until it goes bad. Wise man lives a long way from the lab. All aboard the plague chain to the gain of function junction. But watch where you're stepping, they got all kinds of bioweapons begging to get loose and cause a disruption. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and when I was just a boy, my mama asked me this. She said, son, what you wanna be? I said, a big philanthropist with date as my oil, and illness is my business, with guns as my retirement, and war as my mistress. I'm gonna be an oligarch with a whole bunch of rockets. I'd get them two sides fighting, and I'd empty both of their pockets. And if I got bored or money weary, I'd try my hand in dabbling in social engineering. I'm gonna be a billionaire with a big foundation. We used to rule in shadows, but I'd come right out and I'd rule the nation. I'm gonna do all my own laundry in a third world nation state. Experiment with the locals like some philanthropic saint, and I never make a cure. Not get you a treatment plan. You can die in slow installments, and I'll bleed you while I can. And I travel around the planet in a big old mystery jet. What I did would be my business, and what you did I would collect. If I was a philanthropist, just run around philanthropist. Not a whole lot of help just for myself, but I gotta make it look convincing. Books, pages and spines, books full of fun stories and rhymes. I can travel around, never leave my seat. I'll tell you something, buddy, reading books are pretty dang neat. Now books change your perspective. Grab a couple of books and start a book collection. Read a good book, fill your brain full of knowledge, and you don't never even have to go to a college. Trade a book your time, it'll give you its treasure. Every chapter's a blast, every letter gets better. Take a short book just to get your feet wet, and you'll be reading big time in no time, I'll bet. Like Shakespeare, Melville, London and Austin, Tolkien, Lewis, Lingo, Harry Potter is awesome. Magic Tree House, Homer, Virgil and Chaucer. Grab a fat paperback about a flying saucer. Now books say the things in your head in a brand new way you never heard it been said. Ebooks, audiobooks, don't make it hard. You can go pretty far with just a library card. Like Whitman, Steinbeck, Hurston and Faulkner, Hemingway, McCarthy and Miss Mary Oliver. Read a little bit, it'll just take a minute. You can pick a different book if you don't like what's in it. Just read them.
welcome to Creative Chaos. For anybody that is returning, which I think most people that are viewing right now are usually here every week. This show is dedicated to shining a spotlight on fascinating people creating fantastic things outside the mainstream. They are basically today's culture creators because we cannot trust the mainstream to not gender swap and race swap things, and it annoys everybody. So me personally, I think just go support the indies, spend your money there. They will definitely love you more than big conglomerations of entertainment networks and all that. So that is what Creative Chaos is all about. And I've got a great guest for you tonight. But first, of course, I got to tell you why. Besides, of course, highlighting awesome people, I got to let you know that Flip City Magazine is the one that sponsors this show. Flip City Magazine is the reason we do this show. And I'm actually not going to really plug Flip City very much. I want to talk more about collaboration. Something that we launched a few months ago with the Madness Comic Network. Shout out to you guys over there. We launched a collaboration. It was the brainchild of both Omar Glitch and Levi Skeen. They came up with the idea that they should do some stuff for Flip City Magazine. So, an idea was created that Flip City Magazine would give them a topic to draw on, and then whoever decided that they wanted to participate would live draw during the draw streams whenever they felt like working on the project. And we just wrapped our recent one up. Last week, I asked you to go vote in our serial killers and the women that love them contest. And we got up to 102 votes, and my goal was 100. So I was super stoked about that. And we have a winner. Cause if you can just bring up the image of the winner for me. It was Omar Garcia, aka Omar Glitch. You can see his little tags there on either side. People really got a kick out of the unintentional serial killer being an OnlyFans girl and the starving simp that can't eat anything but cat food because she takes all his money. He gives it to her willingly. Um, Not sure why she has a knife, but it's okay. We'll work with it. So we have several other people that also entered the contest. They will be published in volume 24 of Flip City Magazine, and you'll just have to buy the magazine to see what the write-ups are all about with each one of our serial killers. All right, cause you can bring that down. Besides collaborating with Madness Comic Network live draw streamers, we've been doing all kinds of other collaborations. I was thinking of it because I was just going to talk about this one particular collaboration, but something else cool happened today. We've been collaborating with Joey B. Tunes, who has over 1 million subscribers over on YouTube. He is a hilarious comedian that does a lot of clown world idiocracy commentary, and he's been doing it for a while. He loves Flip City, and he's also an illustrator and does cartoons. Um, his first appearance in Flip City was in volume 22. So for anybody that was subscribed, you've already gotten our first edition with Joey B. Tunes in it. His page, his dedicated page is called Concerned Citizens Corner. But something really cool that he did today, and I didn't prepare a cause for this, so I just brought it up on my phone. He did a cool thing over on Instagram. I didn't know exactly what was happening. Okay, and the post doesn't matter that much that you can't really see the image. But what he did is he invited Flip City to be a collaborator on Instagram, and I'm like, what the heck's this? Basically, I said, okay, allow or accept, and it makes it so that Flip City Magazine also gets all the comments and likes, and it felt really good because we don't get a ton of likes on social media usually. So it felt good to get over 150 likes at this point in time. I'm like, wow, look at all these notifications. This is fun. And then another thing too, Joey B. Tunes hooked us up with Made by Jim Bob. So you're going to start seeing Made by Jim Bob illustrations in print inside Flip City Magazine in every new edition, with the very first appearance of Jim Bob being the centerfold in volume 24. We're having a blast collaborating with a bunch of different people across the board. Basically, the only like requirement, I mean, you have to be kind of good first, but besides that, is you need to love freedom. That's all. We can get along if you love freedom and you're not a commie. So that's kind of what's going on with Flip City. If you want to check out who we are, you can just go over and type in flipcitymag.com, and that'll take you to our website. We've got a free magazine there. It links to all of our social medias, all that great fun stuff. So, yeah, that does it for what's going on with Flip City. And if everybody that's watching tonight, I see there's 32 viewers out there at this. Oh, if you could, what should people do, Batman?
Like, subscribe, hit that gold pill, send us some gold pills, click that red pill,
Oh,
and subscribe, and make sure you share. Love it. Ring that bell, subscribe, and hit that bell.
oh, look at that. That was like a surprise bottom third, lower third thing. I was like, wow, look at us.
That's cool.
That
Cosmic's got
was
it all
cool.
going on.
I
Cosmic's got it
know.
all going on.
We just love
Oh,
him
I
so much.
understand we have a guest to get to tonight, and I was late getting in because we got back late from eating dinner. I had anticucho out on the street at this little cafe. Do you know what anticucho is?
I do not know what it sounds a little dirty, like you're getting together with somebody's auntie.
Oh no, anticucho. Oh, anticucci? No, that's a different type of thing. That's anticucci. No, it's anticucho is cow heart. It's
Cow heart?
cow heart, and it is
Mm,
absolutely delicious. It's
I don't
flame
think so.
broiled out on a grill while you're sitting there at this little cafe. It's absolutely. I got video. You'll be seeing it probably on Sunday because I
Okay.
got to post the videos. But Sunday is going to be interesting because I'm going to be in San Pedro de Cajas, where we're going to be celebrating Festival. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know what time we're going to get done, so I'm going to have to make sure I get a lot of videos loaded ahead of time so Cosmic and the crew can handle, do the extras if they need to.
That's right. For anybody that wants to see Bruce on the Loose, you can do that on Sunday at 4 p.m.
Big
Pacific,
avocado time. Avocado time,
avocado
4
time,
p.m.
and
7 o'clock, Big Apple time.
that's right. And your platform of choice is, of course, pilled.net. For anybody that has not gone and checked out Pilled, please go do so. We love Pilled so much.
We do. We do. Pilled is where it all started for us. Although D Live is the first place we launched, Pilled was in fact is in fact our home base. So can't tell you enough good things about Pill.net. If you guys haven't already joined, please go check it out. What's up, Vulcan Lives? Vulcan Lives. Good to see you out there. We got Pops out there, Madness Comic Network. We got a bunch of people out there. I can't see.
Yeah,
Anwar's in the house. We've got,
uh
yep,
let's
that's all I'm
see.
seeing.
Yeah, it looks like our good friend Vulcan is pretty much, besides Madness Comic. Oh, and
Oh,
Rob
Rob Wilson
Wilson
just popped
art.
in.
Thank you so much, Rob, for coming and checking out the show. Rob was a part of our Flip City is Madness collaboration. So, yeah, you guys will be seeing his art inside volume 24 of Flip City as well. All right, I think it's time for us to get to our guest.
I think we need to introduce our guest too.
All right.
Let's bring in the Mad Ray.
That's right. So our guest tonight is Ray Jamison. He's the creator of Madcaps. It's a medieval fantasy mini series about the reunion of four friends interrupted by a local drug problem. Funding for book 2 out of 3 will be launching in April, I believe. He'll correct me if I was wrong. By Filbo, which I love that name, Filbo Publishing, and this leads the Madcaps protagonists into the territory of the drug distributor. There's also zombies, you guys. So you'll see that in this promo for book one. I did not find a video promo for book two. And I'll have to apologize if that is out there when Ray gets in. So let's play that, and then we will see Ray on the flip side.
A brawny intellectual, a devout farmer, a good-hearted charlatan, and a social facilitator. This circle of friends shall reunite in their hometown, Ivywood. Before they can depart for employment, they are interrupted by a local drug problem which carries hidden, sinister undertones. Can they survive the night? And what is the source of this danger? The bond amongst these friends may be the only metric to answer such questions.
He'll be here. There he is. What's up,
There
Ray?
I am. So, Festival, I want to hear more about this.
He's given his time up to you, Bruce.
Festival.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Tell me more about Festival. I live up north. I'm in Canada. I'm not familiar with Festival.
Okay, so Festival in Peru is a lot different than Festival anywhere else. It's a bunch of the local town folk get dressed up in their fancy dress garb and they dance for hours on end. They have lots of good food and they celebrate. Elavia, como Festival, ¿por qué? Do you understand Spanish, Ray?
No, I speak half French and full English.
There you go. Cat French. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a new one on me.
Cat French.
Cat French, yes.
Meow, meow, meow.
Well, that too. Well, right now here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, we have Festival de Voyageur, which is about the fur trader era. It celebrates all of the culture that went on in that time. At a certain point, Winnipeg was like a big hub of traffic through Canada. It's kind of pretty much the geographical center. So it's always interesting because I hear different people, different areas talk about festival or festival, and it's never the same, but they're all awesome. So that's really cool to hear about Peru.
It is cultural. It is cultural. They're putting on their garb from when they were, I guess from the older times, but they always dressed well. The women always wore skirts and blouses and these big fancy hats. And the men always wore their ponchos and their sombreros, and they dance around and they celebrate their culture. There's another big festival in July, which is their winter. This is supposed to be their summer, but it's actually really cold up there right now because it's literally San Pedro de Cajas is at the foothills of the Andes mountain region. We're going to be 4,000 meters above sea level. So I'm going to have some trouble, and I'll be chewing a lot of coca leaves to get me through Festival. And it's what I did the last time I wound up in Cusco. I chewed coca leaves the entire time we were there, and I was the only one that didn't get sick. The rest of my family all got sick. I was the only one who didn't get sick. So I'm going to have fun and party with coca leaves in my system while I'm doing the fiesta.
Sounds like a good time. Christy,
really
I gotta do the Canadian thing and apologize. I went on that tangent right off the hop there.
I know. How dare you be nice to Batman?
How dare I?
We're supposed to ignore him all night. Well, on that note, hey, Batman, do you want to get right into our first segment so we can get to know Ray as quickly as possible?
Please, let's roll the stinger.
Let's do it.
So this is a series of quick rapid-fire questions. Don't think about it. Just get the first answer that comes to your head. What are your favorite foods? What's your favorite food?
Favorite foods? I like slow roasted chicken that takes over 90 minutes to cook. You can cut it with a plate. It's an amazing thing. I like pizza simply because my kids like pizza and it's grown on me. That and a big old glass of water or Diet Coke.
Well, that was the next question. Your favorite drink?
Favorite drink? Yeah, Diet Coke is up there. I drink a lot of water, or at least try to. So I've kind of everything else is really excessively sweet. So
Right.
I'm kind of
Now,
bland in regards to taste of food and
there you
stuff.
go.
I particularly love though that you got into pizza because you had kids. Like,
Well, I
how's that
ate it
happen?
prior. They just have more of an influence on me. I mean, you're
Gotcha.
eating that for supper. Am I going to cook two meals, or do I just have a slice as well?
Right.
Yeah, well, coming from New York, I got to tell you, pizza is a big thing in New York. And I'm here in Peru now for the last 2 weeks, and I've had pizza here, and it doesn't even come close to comparing to pizza in New York. It's a different kind of flavor and taste altogether. It's more like I take their pizza here and I roll it, and so it's
Mhm.
almost like a pizza
Like
egg roll.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a pizza egg roll because the dough is so thick. And in New York, the pizza's not; it's thin and flat. You go to Chicago and you get your deep dish
Deep
pizza,
dish.
but
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
whole different. That's a whole different kind of pizza. That's a whole different meal. You can
I
get some of
had
that in New York, but go
I
ahead.
I had the privilege of going to northern Italy, and their pizza was very different from the south, which was kind of neat.
Oh yeah,
And I mean, you always hear the stereotype of pizza. You go to a pizza store, you think that's what's like in Italy. Obviously, it's not, and everybody's is different, and they're all terrific. It's really cool.
it is. It is. Look, I like pizza anywhere as long as they have a little bit of cheese, a little bit of sauce, and then I like mine with a lot of meat on it.
Hmm.
I like toppings. So I also like Hawaiian pizza. I know people hate pineapple on their pizza,
I
but
love it.
guess what? It's delicious. Pineapple and ham, you can't go wrong. Or
Hey,
bacon and pineapple.
you can win over vegetarians if you have to get a vegetarian substitute. You can sub out the ham for olives, which has that same salty effect to complement the
Yes,
pineapple.
salt and sweet.
Yes.
Great idea. Yeah, my sister's a big vegetarian. She's vegan, so over lactin, so she eat eggs and stuff, but
Yeah, yeah.
no animals. Very
I
cool. Very cool.
I
I
learned a
just got to do one shout out. I'm sorry, one quick shout out. Classical Chick, thank you for raiding our channel tonight. I saw
yes.
you raid the channel. Thank you so much, Classical Chick. Love you dearly. God bless you, sister. And let's move on with Fanboy for us. Your favorite character, any genre, any medium, it doesn't matter. Favorite character.
Hands down, regardless of my mood, Samwise Gamgee. That goes without
Aw,
saying.
he's the best friend.
He is the definition of a good friend. J.R.R. Tolkien has also openly admitted that Samwise is actually the hero of that story. Regardless of all the things going on, he is considered one of the most critical pieces to the success of that adventure. Um, Obviously depicted very famously in film. I can't carry the ring, but I can carry you. There's a lot to be
Yes.
said in that character. I like that character a lot.
Can I tell you a quick anecdote because from my life about that their relationship in the movies because it makes my heart melt.
Hmm.
The first time my daughter was obsessed with Lord of the Rings from like young child, it was her go-to movie, and I've mentioned multiple times that she loved Gollum. Like she just thought he was
Yeah,
hilarious. So I'm like, okay, you're going to be a little weirdo, but that's okay.
sounds like
Um,
my kids.
but the first time she ever cried from happiness or like just overwhelming like love emotions was watching probably for the 50th time Sam and Frodo's relationship. And I think it was I can't carry the ring, but I'll carry you. And I walked into her and she's just bawling. She's like, Mom, I don't know why I'm crying. And I'm like, what is it? What's wrong? Thinking something else happened. And she's like, Sam and Frodo, they're friends. They love each other. And it was just a sweet, I'm like, wow, what a developmental milestone, for me to
Yep.
have the pleasure of experiencing with her. And I had to explain to her why she was crying. I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah, you can cry when you're happy too. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's Samwise. Another character. It's actually well, two real life ones. One is James Braddock. Movie. Russell Crowe depicted him in Cinderella Man. He boxed during the Depression, and he was basically fighting for milk. It's a really good story. He's a very fascinating character to me. And then another one, real world, is Desmond Doss, who was a fellow who fought in the Second World War. for the uh, for USA, but he never wanted to carry a gun, and he was a medic. Even medics have to carry guns, but he didn't want to. One of his most amazing accomplishments. A lot of it sounds very fantastical, but one of the shining moments in his career as a soldier was every morning the Americans would take the ridge, and then every night the Japanese would drive him back down. And one night he stayed up, and all night he saved over 200 people and lowered them down the ridge, which is like 200 feet. And to have that kind of resilience, the platoon originally was not in favor of him. They gave him a really hard time. They threw things at him, name called him and stuff. And for him to go and save these people, there's a documentary. He was played by Andrew Garfield. I mean, the movie Hacksaw.
I was just going to say, I remember the movie,
And
Yeah,
with
I
Andrew
do too.
Garfield.
It was impressive.
there's a documentary at the end of the movie that Mel Gibson did. They took a piece out of the documentary. The actual captain that was played by Vince Vaughn in the movie, but the actual person when he was still alive, he recalled being saved by Desmond Doss. He says, "I treated him so bad," and he starts crying, and he says, "And of all the people to save me, it's this guy." And that's a very, very powerful thing for people to transcend personal problems in an environment and do the right thing. Well, all three of them, Sam, Wise Gamgee, or James Braddock for his family, or in this case, a man who just wanted to serve his country. He just didn't want to carry a gun. It's a really cool dynamic, a pattern I really appreciate in storytelling.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like you seem to have a fondness for altruistic characters, which is nice. That's like that speaks volumes of to who you are as well.
Yeah,
And I hope
and
you
I,
carry some of those virtues.
yeah, and another thing about altruism, that's a very difficult thing to actually portray. Usually it's done to a level where it's taken as cheesy or like a cheap perfume. It's too strong, too much. I like Steve Rogers for similar reasons, which is understandable. But there's times where people will scoff at it. But if you do it in the right flavor and in the right taste, it's done in a way where people just kind of, much like your daughter Krista crying over Sam and Frodo with their friendship, it can be done in a way that should be inspiring people as opposed to cudgeling a person about do the good thing, right?
Right. It's not preachy.
Yes. It's just inspiring. That's how the message should be delivered.
Right. Yeah.
And
I
they
think
did it.
that's something that a lot of creatives get stuck in is the preachiness of what they're trying. It's like a delicate line
Hmm.
to
It's a difficult,
traverse.
delicate line. Yes.
Yeah. I cut you off,
Very good.
Bruce.
The last one, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is movie. Favorite movie.
Favorite movie? There's lots of good ones. I already mentioned two. I mentioned the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I actually mentioned three. I mentioned Cinderella Man and also Hacksaw Ridge. I think those are great. In regards to superhero movies from the original Sam Raimi trilogy, Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire versus Doc Ock. A
Yeah.
really good job of this is what it's like to be an adult. I say to everybody, it's very difficult nowadays. Dare I use the phrase kids these days? But dare I use that phrase? But you go back 50 years when you were in your room, you didn't have your own television, you didn't have your own cell phone, you didn't have all of these luxurious things. And every family's different. Not every kid has the same amount of toys and stuff. But nowadays, to take that sacrifice and live in your own apartment, and like in Spider-Man 2, you see Peter Parker, he goes past his landlord, Mr. Dickovich, and Mr. Dickovich says, "Do you have rent? I'll have it next week," yada, yada, yada. Then he sits down on his bed, and within 5 feet of him is his fridge, his toilet, his bed, and you hear the train go over top, and you feel the ceiling shake a little bit. And I think everybody, uh, it's very difficult to take that first step, but everybody has to go down that path and like choose to sacrifice a little bit and realize when you go home and you see that the orange juice tastes a bit watered down, you're more grateful that it's free and your parents are serving you orange juice, right?
Well,
Absolutely. Look,
at least in the old days,
Yeah.
I don't know if kids these days appreciate anything, but
every journey through adulthood has that first step and growing pains.
Yeah, and I teach at a college, and that's something I say to high school students that tour through. You have to embrace being uncomfortable. That's the only way you're eventually not uncomfortable. And I use the analogy of when you're a kid and you get in a pool and the water is cold, you tiptoe in and the water slowly goes up your torso and it's cold, it's cold, it's cold. Or you can just jump in and get it out of the way and it's done. You might as well just jump in with the uncomfortable part and life gets better. So when I watched Spider-Man 2, going back full circle, um, because he only has his aunt who's a widow, he's more, it isn't all by choice. He's forced to grow up in a lot of ways. And again, an example of a message that comes from a position of inspiring people who watch it.
awesome. Hey, Bruce, you did not go through your full list. I'm actually going to take this opportunity to backtrack a teeny tiny bit. And this is Ray, this is going to give you a chance to think for one moment.
Okay.
Your favorite music or band. Hang on,
Thank you.
because I have to say I'm consistently forgetting to thank our opening house band every single week. I feel poopy about that. But what you heard, if you were here early, you heard Jesse Wells. I found him over on Instagram. Instagram's been great, giving me a lot of suggestions of indie music to go and like, because algorithm learned that I'm like finding stuff over there. Anyways, I was loving the Jesse Wells music. He obviously is a freedom minded individual and doing folk music for today. It's like freedom minded folk music, and I really love him a lot. He's really cool. So if you want to find Jesse Wells YouTube, just look in the link in the description. And go, Ray. Favorite music or band?
Music or band? I have quite an eclectic playlist. So
Me
I
too.
couldn't give you a favorite genre or band. One thing I do have a heavy affinity for is soundtracks, scores of motion pictures. I really like orchestrated music, especially if I'm not familiar with it. One thing I find, especially from the creative end, when I am writing a story, if I have to drive somewhere for a half hour, if I'm playing something without lyrics, it's really good for painting pictures in my mind. It's almost like you know how you see like funny AI interpretations of things and it starts doing its own thing.
Yeah.
My mind wanders like that with the right amount of music, and if I'm thinking about a story or a scene, sometimes the music will inspire me and it drives me to get some really cool ideas. So if I had to pick only one style of music for the rest of my life, orchestra, no lyrics.
That is so
Very
funny.
good.
I grew up, with my older siblings going through band, and I did myself, and we went to a lot of orchestra, and that's exactly what I would do. Is I would
Hmm.
lay back in my seat a bit, close my eyes, and just let it paint pictures, based on it, and I freaking love it. And classical
Hmm.
music to me is about one of the best kinds of working music. It's not
Every time your
distracting.
imagination runs like that, you're going through your own personal custom fantasia.
Indeed, indeed. And
I like that.
I just have to say, Lori Calcaterra wants me
Oh,
to roast
Lori,
you.
say hi to Lori for me. I'll
Well,
say
I
hi to
think
Lori. Hi, Lori.
yeah, there you go.
I was on the
I
Karen show.
that's what Pop said at the beginning of the show.
You
So it looks like
survived?
she's
I did.
roasting
Are you
you.
kidding me? I made them both rage quit. I was good. It was a good time.
Really? I
Yeah.
can't now were you the most recent guest, so it's still going to
That was
appear?
about I think 6 weeks back now already. It's been a
Oh,
while,
well, so
maybe a
you
month.
guys go check out Karen. You can find it on the Madness Comic Network over on YouTube and look for
And
Ray's
pilled.
appearance. Oh,
And
and
pilled.
pilled. Okay. Well, and probably lots of other places that I don't know off the top of my head. And also, hello to Levi Skeen. Hello. Good to see you.
What's
All
up,
right.
Levi? See ya.
Uh I think we're done with
That concludes Fanboy for us.
All right. Well, we're done with
So
that.
let's get
And
into our segments and
no, no,
let
no,
Ray
no.
let Ray get to spit. Well, no, I'm sorry. We have to have him do his pitch first.
That's right. And also talk a little bit because I have a list of questions here for him. But one way that I like kind of critiquing people, but I do it privately. Well, sometimes I give you shit live if it's really bad. Is is I just like to hear your elevator pitch for your project. So what's going on? What's your elevator pitch for the Madcaps?
Elevator Pitch, 3-issue miniseries, medieval fantasy themed. As you've already alluded to, it revolves around 4 friends meeting back at their childhood hometown. An undead outbreak interrupts the reunion. After helping the guards stave off the outbreak, they are inclined to believe it has some type of connection to a local drug problem. So from there, if I had to summarize it, imagine an adult version of Scooby-Doo minus the dog in a medieval fantasy setting. Kind of like almost like a whodunit, but not quite.
Okay. Now, is there any mask taking off?
Um, Not masks. No, I can say honestly, there's no masks taken off.
All right. All right. And then
There are
yeah, you
heads removed. There are heads removed.
Well, not gonna lie to you, but next question.
yeah. Well, so and that was something that because you were kind enough, and I thank you very much for sending over your issue number 1 so I could get a feel for what you've got going on over there. And I did enjoy reading it. I'm not a huge comic book reader, but I've been really enjoying when I have guests coming on who send me the PDF. So thank you so much for that. But
Right on.
that was something that I thought was kind of cool is because it kind of seems to reflect what's going on in our culture right now. It seems to me that you're undead or becoming undead because of a certain drug.
Well, it's funny. Now issue 1 has been out for a year, so I'm okay talking about the entire issue. Obviously, I'm going to have it for sale during the Kickstarter for issue 2 in April. So obviously, I don't show everything, but in regards to talking about the issue, so after the outbreak is pacified, the full blooded dwarf Sarlacc, he recognizes one of the downed undead individuals, but he says there's no bite marks on it. This is very weird. He says when I saw this fella stumbling around during our festival, he was with 2 others, but I told them all to go to my church to calm down and get the stuff out of their system. The local drug, it's fictional. It's called Weave, and there's not too much known about it other than if you ingest enough of it, it starts shutting down your organs and your body. So it's hard to breathe. Your digestive tract starts shutting down. Your heart slows down. If you take too much of it, essentially you just your body just stops, and that's it. And so they get to the church, but there's a curveball. It's inferred, like they start, okay, is this drug causing, is that what caused patient 0 here? Is this the issue? So when they get there, yeah, one of the 2 that was at the church is all erratic, and this thing gets killed. Really cool scene with Madrakis grabbing the thing by the neck and setting its head on fire and throwing it aside. But the other one is not, and they're kind of thrown for a loop because all of them took the same stuff, but one of them didn't turn. So there's obviously more going on than they fully understand. With that said, they don't even know if these two dynamics are related. Maybe the outbreak had nothing to do with the drug. They don't really know. The one individual that didn't turn, he did confess to them where he did pick up the stuff and knew where there's a new shipment coming through.
Hmm.
So they're able to intercept that shipment, and that's where the comic ends. So the second issue is finding where the distributor is and going into enemy territory. So anybody who's going to deal with stuff that the law is going to frown on, usually you're going to have hired muscle if you have an area with stuff. So I can't really say any more than that, but well, you know what I will say is one of the individuals amongst the 4, they actually kind of bounce off each other. When do we admit that we're over our head? like we're not really fighters or anything. Even the big guy Madrakis, he wears ceremonial armor. It reflects his culture. He's big and strong, but he's not a skilled mercenary or anything like that. So they have a metaphorical crossroads of where do we pull the plug? When do we admit that we're way outside of our experience here? So
Right. And something that I really appreciated at the end of your book that you had was a description of every character. I kind
yes,
of wish uh I haven't reread the book, but after getting those descriptions, I am going to reread it. And I was like, oh darn, I wish I would have scrolled first and seen this so I
if
could have
only,
had more context.
it's
You
almost like
know?
I did that on purpose. Right now, you got to read it a second time.
Yes. I'm like, you just made it rereadable
Yes.
because I know more
Do
about these
you,
characters.
off the top of your head, out of the four of them, um, every time I put somebody on the spot, it's understandable because they have kind of unique names. They're not like Bob and Fred. So if you forget the name, I understand. But do you have a favorite character, like one that really
I
stands out to you at all?
I think I'm liking the dwarf at this point,
The full-blooded
especially.
dwarf, the one with the beard and the axe, or the
Ye-
half dwarf with the hammer?
oh, maybe I've got them mixed up because whichever one is the one that is apparently like more religious, or
Oh,
if that
that
was.
yes, that's the full-blooded dwarf. That's Sarlacc. Sarlacc Swamp Trudger is his full name.
Yeah, and for anybody that's like curious as to who the characters are as far as what I have available, the thumbnail I believe has that dwarf. It's the middle image on the
Yes,
thumbnail, and you
yes,
have him done in a stained glass style illustration, which I heard while I was doing because I lurk people when people are going to come on. So I watched a portion of one of your other interviews, and you had said that that's going to be a metallic cover.
yes. I
So that's
wanted that
exciting.
stained glass to really stand out. I've always wanted to do a metal foil cover, but it couldn't just be anything. But stained glass seems to, I feel, will really complement. They just seem like they go hand in hand. I'm really looking forward to seeing that when it's done.
Yeah. What's up, Grey Wolf? Just wanted to say hello because you popped in. Thank you for coming over to Creative Chaos. And so was I correct in your intro, reading your intro? It was April that you're
Yes,
launching.
April Fools.
Oh, really?
That's a
On the very
Tuesday.
first? On the
Yes,
very first.
all of April.
And you guys, I'm dropping the link to the campaign. What Ray's doing right now is taking signups to be notified. So that costs you nothing. Go
Yep.
give him your email, you guys. I don't
One of
think
the
he
thing about
spams.
anybody who's watching this, if you're a big fan of story and passion over top of business and meeting quota, these three issues, there's no 60 or 6 decades rather worth of lore that you'd have to know leading up to it. And this isn't my day job. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this because I just want to tell a story. And if you're a fan of seeing more stories like that come out for that reason, if you click on if you sign up on the pre-launch to be notified when it launches, even if you don't buy into anything, you'll be helping me in regards to swinging the algorithm in my favor. It's more likely to show up. I drank too much pop and I'm trying not to belch here.
Oh, go ahead. That is what this show is
There
all
we go.
about.
But anyways, yeah, if you follow that pre-launch, you'll be swaying the algorithm in the favor of the project. You raise the chances of it getting onto the radar of others. So it is a very important thing. So if anything, if you just click on follow, like you said, Krista or Christy rather, I know what Krista, I was just talking to Krista today. I
Oh, okay.
apologize, but anyways, um, that one thing doesn't cost you anything, and 3 seconds of time, if that.
Okay. So yeah, I did, you guys, I did a boo-boo, and I didn't fully copy the link the first time, and I dropped the wrong link. Just ignore that one. The second one that says Kickstarter, click that link and go sign up to be notified of the project. Even if you ignore the email, it doesn't even matter because it's just going to help with the algorithm.
The
And
link ends with a 2.
oh, yeah.
I'm just telling the people listening.
Okay. I'm like, okay, yes, I did.
You
I'm
did it
like,
right.
don't tell me I screwed up 2 times in a row. I give myself one chance to be a numbskull.
All right, so wait a minute. We're on the campaign now. Now where do we? Oh, I don't know what I just did. Where do we start following?
So click on the scroll down underneath the picture of Madrakas there. There should be on your phone, it should be a black button, notify upon
Notify
launch.
me. There we go.
There it is.
Done.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Co- Costs
And
you nothing. And
it
hey,
says
you
here that you're in Bayport, New York.
That's actually my publisher's area. He runs my Kickstarter for me. So he takes a
Gotcha.
percentage, and like I said, this is not my day job, so
Right.
it's a very beneficial deal. I'm a big fan. Shout out to Filbo Publishing for all the support they've given me in getting this story out there.
Excellent.
it is funny because I have that on my list of questions. So I'm glad you brought up Philbo because I think I was going to just zoom past it. How did you find your publisher, and why did you decide to go through a publisher instead of like doing it yourself and keeping it all?
Well, it's funny. The publisher was completely by we'll say through the natural generation of social media. I accumulated a network, and every once in a while I'd speak to different publishers and say, what do you think of my art? I have all the interiors done for issue 1. And we would talk back and forth, and Phil Russert being one of them. And eventually, um I can't, it was such a subtle thing, I can't even recall we'll call it the TSN turning point of uh, me going under Filbo Publishing to get this out to the masses accordingly. This is my first time creating a comic. I don't have a big network, so I gain from dipping into his network, of course. So if he's publishing, he'll be advertising me. And then on the flip side, like for him doing the work on this Kickstarter launch, he gets a percentage. Everybody, it's a mutual gain. And uh, at the end of the first one, I was very happy with how it all turned out. I didn't even flinch to get issue 2 going with him.
Fantastic. And yeah, it seems like to me in my lurky research is you launched for issue 1 at the same time last year.
11 months earlier, yes. So almost a full year. Last time we started at the end of April, and we
Okay.
were done by the end of May. This time we're going at the start of April.
Well, good for you. Is that the plan, is to, at least with this first mini series that you're doing, to do one a year?
Unknown. I'm going with what the tide has to offer me. So, my at the absolute longest, I'd like to go a year. I'd like to do like twice a year or something like that at this current rate. But it all depends on budget. It depends on timing with my publisher, and there's probably like a half dozen other reasons. But right now, my focus right now, I'm not even thinking about when to launch number 3, even though I have 3 covers already done for it. It's on the side right now. I want to talk about, or I want to keep issue 2 on my radar until the end of April, and then I'll start thinking, okay, what's next? How much did I make off of issue 2's Kickstarter? That is another variable where, okay, I have this much money. This dictates how much I can get done in the next X amount of time, and so forth and so on.
Fantastic. And hey, I'm going to, because we just recently talked about helping with the algorithm and everything, I see that there are 49 people watching us right now, which is pretty darn good for a Creative Chaos night. People, anybody that's new over here that just popped in, even if you're going to leave immediately, if you could like, share, and or subscribe, or and all those things, that would be really awesome. And Bruce, will you do me a huge favor, because you were so wonderful with the conversation? Could you please take over hosting duties for one moment? I have to get out of my seat.
Absolutely,
All
no
right,
problem.
fantastic. Thank you.
I want to ask you a question, Ray, since I have you
Mhm.
here. You tell me you're a teacher.
I
You're a
am.
professor.
Uh,
What age?
age range adults. Now,
Okay.
one thing, I'm not saying it's off limits, but I do like to keep my personal life a little bit of a buffer. I got a wife and kids, so I just try to keep that general. But yes, I teach at a college. I teach adults. I am. I like my job. It's great, man.
So I just wanted to find out what um, topic you discuss in your classes.
Um, lots of mathematics, lots of geometry, lots of
Okay,
really cool stuff.
very good. And have any of your students taken notice of your comic book yet?
Um, for uh, where I work has conflict of interest clauses. So to avoid anything hairy like that, I don't say anything at work. Very few people at work are aware of it.
Okay, understood. And that being said, I see our dear Christy hostess is back. So I'm going
I'm
to turn it back over to Christy Mack.
I'm back, and I think it is time for us to go into our final three segments. Ray, this is where we really test your mettle and see if you're as easygoing as you actually seem.
Well, let's find out.
You seem pretty easygoing, but we're gonna test you here. All right. Our very first segment is called Mansplain. I love Mansplain because I think most people know men, especially white heterosexual men. You said you had children, so I'm assuming. And we know you guys. It really at least seems culturally you're the most hated person on earth and are silenced the most. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you a platform. So we're going to get into mansplain.
Mansplain.
Mansplaining has positively changed her life. You can see it in her eyes. These are her eyes.
I have them. I have
Oh,
your eye. I have eyes. Okay. But I wouldn't know if it wasn't for JP Sears. So thank you so much, JP Sears. All right, mansplain. I didn't prepare a question for you, but something I like to do in mansplain is ask a question that might help the independent comic community at large. So, you being kind of a newer crowdfunder, because you said Madcaps is your first one, so you're kind of in the space for 1 year at this point.
correct.
Uh, I would really love for you to mansplain to me and the entire world that happens to be watching this at this very moment. If somebody came to you for advice on how to get started, just give us a rundown of how to get started to
Um,
publish your own comic book.
two words to start would be pragmatic paranoia. So
I
big one would be budget and relationships with any talent you're working with. You mentioned me being easygoing. I am definitely a people person, and some people have strengths in certain avenues of life, and other people have strengths in other avenues. One of my strengths is I have a good job. I think I have a good ability of being able to get along with anybody. You've dabbled a little bit in mentioning like politics and stuff, or mansplaining. There's people on either side of the fence of that. I can get along with either side of the fence on that stuff. You have to get along with your artists, and I that's been pretty good for me. I haven't seen too much drama on social media in regards to comics, but of the little I have seen, there's at least one individual that isn't even trying to get along, kind of thing. So when I say pragmatic paranoia, just like any relationship takes work. Well, relationship with people you're partnered up with on a project, that's no different. Making sure that you are being smart about your budget and don't overspend. If you need to spend more, that means you're not ready to spend yet. Wait. The first Madcaps number one, from me finishing the script to it launching on Kickstarter, was 2 years. And there's a wide range of reasons for that. And the big ones were I wanted to make sure I can't dictate if the book is good or not, that's up for other people to dictate to me. And because of that, um, being somebody who's written a comic for the first time, I can't control that. But just like Jerry Seinfeld once said, he didn't feel Seinfeld was good because he was funny. He felt it was funny because he surrounded himself with talent, which was funny. And for me, for the artists, the inkers, the letterers, the colorers, the cover artists, I wanted to make sure I had something worthy of the industry, because for what I was writing, I don't have control over that, but the rest I did. So those variables, I think, would be a very important fundamental basis to begin with.
Well, that's a fantastic answer. And just kind of regarding working with artists and everything, um, have you maintained your relationship with the artist from the first book? Is it the same on your second?
I almost have the same team. The only person I don't is Evan Quiring. Shout out to Evan Quiring. He's my interior artist. He's got two books he's doing on his own. You should check him out. There's one called Murder City Devil. There's another one called Lucha Mysteries. They're both very cool and unique for their own respective ways. I was very fortunate for issue 2 to pick up Victor Medina. Victor Medina I can't show anything yet. It's torture not being able to show people stuff. When you're really happy about it and you want to share it and you know people like it and you can't, it's torture. But Victor's stuff, we had a little bit of setback with him because of the LA fires, but he's full bore right now. We're just getting to finishing the interiors, and then Dan Kemp, who's colored over 100 issues of Spawn, and the Civil War era of Spider-Man and Marvel Knights from the early 2000s. He's coloring everything, also the covers, and his brother Dave. Victor Medina is the only addition on the interiors, but everybody else is the same.
That's fantastic. And you know what? You just reminded me, because I think it's your pinned comment on your Facebook, is you have an art contest going
I
on
do.
currently.
Yes,
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
absolutely. So it's going on. The final day to submit is on the 28th. The contest, it exists only on Facebook. So if you were to look me up, DM Ray, my profile picture is a group of the Madcaps, all 4 of them. And it's a line art contest. Whoever wins, Dan Kemp will be coloring it, and it will actually be on one of the pages in the back of issue number 2. And in order to participate, you just have to do 2 things. The first one is you share the image of that pinned post on my profile. And the second thing is you leave a medium resolution capture of your line art in the comments of that picture.
So
And
I don't think I even opened the comments. How's the contest going? You got some submissions?
we do have some submissions. I'm waiting on 4 more. So what I did at the back half of this month is I looked through everybody that shared my image, and I reached out to all of them and said, hey, thanks for sharing. If you're one of the people that's entering as well, make sure to leave your image in the comments. There's, I believe, 4 more coming in. There's already 2 in there. It's really cool. I don't have exposure to this type of, I don't have a big network. And on the flip side, there's, no pun intended, but there's a plethora of individuals waiting to get their shot. Now, I'm not saying I'm the biggest of opportunities, but with that said, if somebody catches my eye and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to put that in my book, and I'm going to get a world caliber, in my opinion, world caliber colorist to put his colors on it, I'm probably going to be bugging that person for an issue in the future, or for a cover rather, in the future. So I'm really, really excited from the stuff I've seen so far. It's really awesome, but I'm really excited to see the rest of it. I'll announce who won probably on March 1st. Depends what day of the week that is. It'll probably be more like the 3rd or 4th, the following week. So the Monday or the Tuesday. I don't know. I might announce it via a stream, or I might just announce it on my page and say congratulations to tag name here, show the image. This will be seen in the book, and so forth and so on.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm super excited that I asked you about the draw contest because you just gave me an idea for my own draw contest to kind of force people to share online. Because that really is, in my opinion, that is why we do collaborations and everything, is to help
uh
each other boost each other's
yeah,
profiles,
for me it was a byproduct. The main reason I wanted to share is so I could follow up near the end. Anybody who intended to, I could look on the share list and just say, hey, just a reminder. I wanted to make sure that some people see it, and then that's the due date is 2 months later, or yeah, 8 weeks later, 2 months. So, okay, 7 weeks to go. The person who had the intention completely forgot about it. But if they shared it, I could see who shared. I could reach out to them and remind them. That was my main intention. But you're right. You do get the win of somebody sharing your content and giving you that exposure. Of course, it's a good point.
Good. Well, thank you for that. I'm walking away with a real tidbit, I think a very golden piece of information that is going
Cool.
to help
Thank
me
you.
with my own. So any of you live draw streamers, I know Rob and Levi were listening. If you heard that, Levi, I know you share anyways. Rob, you can work a little harder on that. No, just kidding. Love you. um okay, I think we are done with our mansplain segment, and we're going to go into a very, very special segment. And this is fun because I don't know if you're a conspiracy theorist or not, but basically, the reason behind Conspiracy Corner, just don't get scared.
Oh, I'm not scared. I love
Okay, good.
talking about this stuff. It's
Oh,
interesting, even if you don't
yes.
believe in it.
Even if you don't
I like
believe in it.
exhausting the thought. It's just interesting. I do have aluminum foil. I can make a hat if that would help.
Well, I've got one, and it's been protecting us on YouTube so far.
I always
So
think
you.
of I always think of that scene in Signs when the uncle and the two kids put the foil hats on. They're reading the book.
Mhm.
They look up at Mel Gibson.
Well, I got to tell you, you have about 15 seconds while the stinger plays if you wanted to get your own aluminum foil. But I've got my hat, and we're gonna go into the segment right now. If you're not like in your seat by the time we get back, it's okay. I got Batman to have
That's okay.
conversation with me.
I can do this without the hat. That's okay.
Okay, good. Well, we're gonna get into the segment, and then I'm gonna explain it. So let's get into Conspiracy Corner.
I wanna live with a conspiracy girl. I could be prepping the rest of my life with a conspiracy girl.
Those weren't aliens.
Aliens. That's what
I,
she said at the very end of that song.
I
Thank you
love
to
that
Dr.
original
Cloud.
song, the Cinnamon Girl.
Yes, it
My
was.
father used to listen to that on the radio a lot when he was still alive. Reminds me of him.
Oh, that's sweet. I
And
don't think
here we are talking about conspiracy theories.
yes, and I have no idea if your father was a conspiracy theorist. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to explain how Conspiracy Corner works. A few months back, we decided as a group in the chat that they would love a spinner wheel. Okay, so we have a spinner wheel here with a ton of crazy conspiracies on them. And we're going to bring the wheel up, and I'm going to explain how the wheel works. So we have all these topics here.
Wow.
It actually
That's got to
doesn't.
be like 40, 50 conspiracies.
I could make it even bigger, and I've been
Wow.
considering doing it, but I'm lazy and I have a lot of other stuff on my plate. So it is as it stands. Anyway, the way this wheel works is we're going to spin it and it's going to land on a topic. If you don't like it, you can pass and spin again.
Okay.
If you don't like that one, you can spin one final time, but no matter what it lands on, you must speak on it. And this is why I also love having writers on is even if you don't know anything about the topic, you can make shit up. It does not matter. Okay? Do you understand the rules, sir?
I'm thinking of the scene in that one Simpsons episode where all of the parents get that special like mojo booster, and all the kids are stuck by themselves in the afternoons, and they start spinning up these conspiracies why the parents all spend their times in their rooms. They don't actually understand the birds and the bees. But
Okay.
yes, I'm ready to go if you are.
All right, fantastic. I have to first say what is up to Zesty Zanimal. I've never seen you in our chat before. Welcome. And I don't know if you were making fun of Ray because he's fancy because he has tinfoil, or if you're fancy because you have actual tinfoil. Let us know in the chat. But in the meantime, while you're letting us know, we're gonna spin this wheels and see what we land on. Let's go, Cause.
All right, first chance here. Let's see what we get.
What will we land on? Ooh, this could get dark. Angels and demons.
Angels and demons. That's so broad, but it's all been done. I'm gonna pass. Next
All
one.
right, all
That
right.
one's too. That one's.
All
That
right.
one's exhausted.
Okay. He wants something that's not exhausted. We'll
Yes,
see.
something that's unique. Unique.
Maybe he wants Tartaria. I don't know. I don't think we've ever landed on Tartaria. Ooh. The Federal Reserve, it looks like. Yes, the Federal Reserve, which is neither federal nor a reserve, in my humble opinion. Actually, I don't think it's federal at all.
Well, je suis Canadien, so we're gonna go one more time.
All right. I love it when people go like press
Oh
their
boy,
luck and say no whammies.
no whammies.
Yeah.
Don't push your luck. Big bucks, no whammies. That was
That's
before I was
right.
born, but I know all about it.
By the way, I'm loving your Canadian accent. That extra that oh. All right, let's go.
Oh, Western Canadian to be specific. East Coasters sound like leprechauns. Apparently,
Do they?
that's
All right, I'm gonna have to pay more attention. Oh, voodoo or Santeria? That's what you're stuck with, buddy.
voodoo. Okay, all right. So,
I don't even
I know what
remember
voodoo is,
adding
but
that.
Santeria. Let me. It's a song by Sublime. How about Santorina Conspiracy?
No cheating, no
Oh, I'm not allowed to cheat.
AI.
Okay, I don't have to do that. All right. Okay, we'll go with voodoo. Voodoo is it's some pretty wacky stuff. What I will say is there you could put 10 people in one room and you're going to have 10 different beliefs. So I'm not going to be imposing my opinion on how potent or lack there is of voodoo. But what I will say is if you're going to dabble with stuff, be prepared. I guess is a good way to put that. And you mess with stuff, sometimes it likes to mess back with you. And there's like lots of lore and movies and stuff that talk all about this kind of thing. There's actually a very interesting, it's an Australian movie, came out not too long ago, and it was called Talk to Me. Do you know this one?
No.
And so
Tell
this
me more.
off topic from voodoo, but it's still actually really interesting. So the whole concept behind it is there's this mannequin hand, and you put it on the table and you hold on to it like you're gripping it by the thumb, essentially, and you say, "Talk to me," and then right in front of you is a deceased person, and they start talking to you. It's completely random. And the longer the movie goes, and the more they dabble with this stuff, the more the other side of the hand starts trying to like mess with you instead of the other way around. That's what I'd have to say about voodoo. Is that in the realm of this game, or do you need?
Yeah, that totally works. Sometimes we talk a little longer, and this may spur you to talk longer. Is I really don't know much about voodoo or Santeria, or except for basically what you said. You're messing with stuff that you don't know about, and it could be opening yourself up to a whole world of hell. But the very first horror movie that I ever watched, I was way, way, way too young, and it was called Trilogy of Terror. And it was three different shorter little movies, and one of them was about a woman who brought home a little voodoo doll thing that
Yeah,
wore
yeah.
a belt.
You stab it with
And
the pins.
I no, the because that's the thing. I don't think I've seen it ever since, and I was literally like 6, 7 years old when I saw it. Terrified me. But the story was, if the belt fell off this voodoo doll, it would come to life. So basically, the whole
Oh,
story was
crazy.
that happened, and the little tiny, it's like this big,
Yeah,
chases
yeah.
this woman around her apartment to murder her with a knife and stuff.
Chucky, eat your heart out.
Seriously.
No
Well,
pun intended, I guess, with voodoo.
I actually have looked into it again to see how scary it was in my adulthood. And it's so cheesy and lame.
Right.
Like, I would probably laugh at it now. Terrified me as a kid. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
movies have a very delivered the right way. It's like you're right there, you know. And they have you right there with you're feeling. Pardon me. I'm trying not to yawn. You're feeling the way that they want you to. It's a really crazy form of manipulation. It's
right.
really really cool.
All right. Well, I'm
You should
glad.
have done MK Ultra.
This is mildly off topic, but one movie that does not appear to age is for me is Fire in the Sky. You ever seen that from the 90s?
I'm terrible
So
at remembering movies. I may have, but I don't know.
so it's based off a true story, and halfway or early in the movie, one guy just vanishes. Everybody else claims they saw a ship and it took the one guy. And eventually he shows up naked at a phone booth. He called for help. And eventually, because he doesn't remember anything, eventually he starts remembering. And they go through the flashback. That flashback scene to this day, like when I was a kid, I saw it much like you were saying, at an age I shouldn't have been watching it. It was such a impact on me that when I was older and we could start like watching things online and stuff, I watched it just to get it out of my system because it's still a little deep dark corner of myself was still scared of that scene. So I had to watch it again to feel better. It still looks terrifying. Like I feel better about it. I'm glad
Mm,
I watched it again, but it didn't age. It looks like just as disturbing as it's intended to be.
What
interesting.
movie
That's
was this?
Fire in the Sky. I think it came out in 92, 93 maybe.
Fire in the Sky.
And
Wild.
just real quick, I wanted to put this out there to the chat. If you have any of those movies in your own life that you were a little too young or you came across it for for a certain reason, because another one popped into my mind, and I've seen this on social media that they played Watership Down on television, and it's an animated movie. If you know the book, it's pretty dark. And I came across that as a child and turned it on, and I was like, "Ooh, cartoon bunnies, yay!" And then within 2 minutes
Oh yeah,
of
I know the one you're talking about. That's
yes,
dark, that one.
with within 2 minutes of starting to watch it, because it was, whatever, they're telling the story, I'm just watching the animation, not knowing what's going on. Then a bunch of rabbits die, and all their ghost rabbits are like flying up into the sky. Traumatized me. And then when I was like 17, I read the book and I was like, oh my God, that was that cartoon I saw. Mean.
Yeah, that one, that's a mean one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like all of the females are basically cattle and everything's depressing in that, man.
Right. And then so it looks like Levi Skeens says Alien he saw too young, and Watership Down. That's interesting because I just came across like a reel on Instagram. I started a terrible habit, you guys, of doom scrolling on Instagram. I avoided that like a plague. I'm like, I'm not watching shorts. They say it's addictive. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to open myself to it. And then I started doing it, and I'm like, sometimes I'll scroll for 3 hours and then feel like shit about myself. You know.
It's a time suck.
Anyway,
It's a
it
time suck.
is. It really
It's
is.
intentional. It's
It,
made
it
to dumb us down.
Yep.
Well, it's for the dopamine, and I feel it, and I'm like, "No, resist, Christy, resist." I swear, if I wore my tinfoil hat, my custom-made tinfoil hat, while doom scrolling, maybe that would help. I'll try that next time. Well, let's see what Grey Wolf says here. He says, "The brain that didn't die scared the crap out of me as a kid, especially the scene where the monster rips the scientist's arm off." I don't know that movie. but I'm sure it looks terrible now. Gray Wolf. Oh, I'm sure because Ray, I'm sure you're not too much younger than me. You look younger than me, but
I was born
he,
in the Orwellian year of 1984.
oh wow, you're a bit younger than me. Now, now, did you see Temple of Doom?
Indiana Jones?
When the
That's where
what?
he rips the
That's
heart
the
out and it's
first one.
beating.
Oh, okay. No, no, no. The very first one where they open the Ark of the Covenant and their face melts off.
Oh yeah,
Did
all
you
the wax.
did you
I've
watch
seen
that
it.
young?
Yeah, I've seen that. Now you have to. That came out. Indiana Jones came out during the early to mid late 80s. So
Right.
I always saw it like at a rental store. I saw it after the fact. But yeah, there was the Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Temple of
That was it.
Doom, and the Last Crusade was the last one.
Okay. Um hey, I just have to address this, Wilson. I have no idea why you're paranoid about your
Oh,
artwork,
that's
but
why I was saying pragmatic paranoia. That's what he's saying.
all right. That makes sense.
Touche,
But, you know,
Rob. Touche.
test this out. It might help you. All right. Because Ray has already been yawning and belching, we got to get out of here before he farts. So we're gonna go into our very last segment. Ray, guess what? Nobody escapes the Flip City Creative Chaos stream without being branded. I bet you didn't know that was gonna happen.
Before you brand me, would I be able to show off some art? Would that be okay?
Yes, we might do it after the branding because
Sure, we could do that. That's
I
fine.
I know that our producer needs to set stuff up for screen sharing, but let's do this. Before we go into the branded segment, share your screen. Cause will get it all set up. And
Okay.
then after we leave the branding, you are more than welcome to share some art.
Okay.
All right,
While he's
fantastic.
doing that, I'm just going to answer Zesty's animal. No, his students do not, because he signed a contract, no conflict of interest. So he's not allowed to discuss his art or his work during his professorship.
Oh, and
One of
one
those
other
church and state kind of things, if you will.
And one other thing, just real quick, I just noticed, and Cause probably brought it up, and I ignored it. I noticed that Tweak gifted a cookie over on Pilled, and way earlier, Paul Thaddeus also gifted a cookie. Thank you guys so much for monetizing us a little bit over on Pilled. I really, really appreciate getting the gold pills over there. So thank you, Tweak and Paul Thaddeus, for gifting the cookies during the stream. I appreciate it. I think you're muted. Oh no, he's talking to somebody else. That's fine with me. All right, we're gonna get into the branded segment. And Ray, because I didn't know you very well, I went very, very easy on you.
You're very nice on me. All right.
Yes, because sometimes it can get a bit abusive with the branding. The way the branding segment works is we basically bring up a piece of Flip City content for you to read. And I picked a really super short one for you. How is your British accent?
I can get by. So you want
Okay,
British accent and read what is going to be on the screen?
exactly. And I'm going to
Okay.
read you in with this first slide.
Okay, done. How many
All
slides
right.
total?
There's like 5 slides.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
it's really easy.
Okay,
Oh,
Booma.
no. No, no, I'm sorry. I don't know what I forgot I did okay boomer. This one's a little bit different.
Okay,
You don't have to do a British
I'm going
accent.
to do it anyways.
That's fine. You're going to be
I'm just kidding.
all the boomers and I'm going to be the second person. It's
Okay.
super easy. You're the boomers. It's quite obvious.
All right.
All
So
right.
I
Okay,
read what the
boomer.
boomer says. Let's do
Yes.
this. To observe proper safety, always use caution when combining substances to avoid dangerous chemical reactions.
Okay, boomer.
Remember, only you can prevent forest fires. I don't know why I went Bullwinkle, but so
I
be it.
liked it. I liked it. Okay, boomer.
In the near future, humans will be able to upload their brains to a computer, but scientists warn the process is extremely risky.
Okay, boomer. And
I'm good at this. That's what's going to happen here. Is it just me? Did I take this over? I just see me on the screen. Are we doing the okay boomer? Am I about to get branded? Is that what's happening here? So apparently, I'll say hi to Levi's again. Thank you. I appreciate. Sometimes I'm silly with the voices. I'm a father of 3, so you have to do that. That's a given.
absolutely. Do you read to your children?
I do. I've read. You know what? I've read The Hobbit to my kids. They loved The Hobbit. They thought that was really, really cool. I spoiled them 2 Decembers back. We watched all of Lord of the Rings, and I had to cut out some of the real scary stuff because they're all under the age of 10. But they liked it so much. I read The Hobbit. I said, this takes place before. Remember Bilbo when he gave the ring away? This is the adventure how he found the ring. So we read all of that, and then after that, we watched the Hobbit trilogy, which isn't. I mean, there's a lot of addition and things to it, but they really like that too. So, yeah, I do a lot of reading with my kids. My son, he sees some of my art for the Madcaps. It's a little outside of his age range, so I tell him, when you're 13, you can read it, no problem. I'm sure he could read it earlier, but he respects that. But he really likes the art. He's actually drawn some pictures for me. My birthday, which was a couple of weeks ago, he drew the Madcaps and Stickman version, and it's kind of cool having little minions that aspire to be like you. So I better behave myself.
Exactly. I mean, that is the role of the father, is to be, the
Inspire.
gold standard.
Yes, as long as possible.
As
Yeah,
long
because
as
when they get older, they get rid of you.
Oh, Bruce, you made me sad. It is funny because I have a 22-year-old, and she's doing exactly what I hoped she wouldn't do, which I did to my own mother, and ignores my calls. I'm like, darn it, it's happening. And then, so what I do instead, after she doesn't pick up, then I call my own mother. I'm like, I'm sorry, I was such a piece of shit when I was in my 20s. And then we rag on my daughter a little. No, we didn't actually do that. I think my mom loves my daughter more than she loved me. Okay, everybody feel bad. Just kidding. I kid. Also, hey, what is up, John's Longbox? Thanks for popping in. And I don't know. So I'm assuming, Ray, you know who Zesty Animal is?
You know what? I don't know. As far as I know, I'm not aware of this person unless they are catfishing us and it's somebody pranking me. But
Gotcha. Because
I'm super intriguing. I should do
they-
like a Kevin Conroy Dark Knight kind of thing.
I don't
But
know
I'm
that.
happy to be of entertainment. So,
Well, I mean, that is the purpose of Creative Chaos. I bring people on.
This zesty animal. Yeah, check out the Madcaps, and if you're really liking my imagination, I wrote that entire story. Issue 1 and 2 launches April 1st. If you click on follow, you'd be helping me out a lot here. But thank you for the nice compliment.
Yes, and I dropped that. I've been dropping the link throughout the night in the
Right on.
chats, and I just dropped it one more time for you. And we're going to start wrapping it up for the evening. As you said, you would like people to go over and follow
Yes.
your project on
Here we go here.
Kickstarter.
I've got 5 pictures to show off here. I'll just say them really quick. So this is one of the pinups from the first campaign. We're going to be selling it again. That's drawn by Sean Langley, colored by Dan Kemp. You can see the 4 main characters there. Undead. closing in on them. If you like zombies, you'll definitely get it in this mini series from the start to the end. And this is the main cover for issue 2. This is where they're going into uncharted territory. As you can see, the overgrowth and the path that they're about to enter. I love how all 4 of them have mildly different expressions of doing this. Some are reluctant. Then you got the little guy up front with a little smirk on his face. 3 more to go. Yeah, so this one, as already mentioned earlier, this is stained glass. Jenna Stark drew it. Dave Kemp colored it. It's going to be metal foil, limited edition, but that metal foil is going to make that stained glass pop. I'm really looking forward to how that one's going to look. Here we have drawn by Rod Ramos Rodolfo, and this is colored by Dan Kemp. This is Madrakis, who he's using his arcane abilities. He's actually pulling Earth upward, as you can see it in the foreground. And these are all scenes that happen in issue 2. So I'm really, really looking forward to showing off what these covers are depicting. This is Chasgo. He is the good-hearted charlatan that has to hide his appearance. In this issue, it's the first time you see his pet here, MX, which is a 3-eyed albino crow. And lastly,
by the way, just real
go ahead.
quick on that last image, thanks, Cuz, for bringing it back. I really love the colors on that. I was so happy to put it on the thumbnail.
Yeah, this one was quite the challenge, and it's because there's a lot of blue, but it's also at nighttime. So, Dave, who colored it, he just knocked it out of the park. Like there's so much like Jay Sloan, who drew this. Even just the emotion from the position of the body. You don't know if he's sad or just thinking in his thoughts. His pet is keeping him company. This is a fella that doesn't fit in with his own people, but other people would kill him if they knew what he actually was. So using magic, he hides his appearance. But here he is in his true form, just sitting and thinking. He's very lonely in a lot of ways, even though he's not ever by himself per se, except in this image, of course. And then lastly, this one's not covered yet. It'll be colored next week. And this is Dunanini, the little guy. Just a bunch of zombies closing in. This is the final variant cover. So those are all the covers. Within the next couple weeks, I might be able to tease a little bit of the interior art. Victor Medina's been working like a madman, and I'm really looking forward to how that's going to look when it's done. I'll stop sharing this because I know we're kind of pressed for time. But
I'm
again,
not pressed for time.
Okay, cool. So sharing screen request cancel. All I wanted to say, did I turn my screen off? Yes, I did. Okay, so yeah, if you like, 3-eyed albino crow. It's got 3 eyes. Its name is MX. It's a really cool thing. Issue 1 and 2 will be on that pre-launch or on that Kickstarter pre-launch on now. And this is a project of passion, not a project of profit. You will definitely see something of somebody who's just trying to tell a cool story. I can tell you with conviction, anybody that's looking for something unique, something that's intellectually stimulating, you will get all of that through these 3 issues. So please, please, please click on pre-launch follow, and I will be more than happy to oblige your entertaining bug.
Fantastic. And you know what? I actually wanted to highlight a couple of things here from Zesty Animal. I don't believe that they are out here just trolling or anything.
No, I was teasing.
Yeah,
Very nice to meet you.
No, of course, of course. I just wanted to say welcome and thank you so much for telling us who you are and what you do. I will be sure to go check out your YouTube channel. That's where I'm assuming you're dialing in from, because Levi Skeen, responded saying looks fun. So I will go definitely check out your artwork and for anybody that is out there that is an artist or writer, I highly encourage you to join Madness Comic Network if you're looking for a writer or an artist or a musician. That is a great place to network is Madness Comic Network. So, Zesty Animal, do that, and maybe Levi Scheme can get you dialed in with one of the live drawing the streams that we do over there. It's really fun. And I don't know if you saw Vulcan Live's comment. He said
Ugh.
gorgeous.
I'm just flattered that I was able to get this talent onto the project. I totally agree. I wanted to make sure that I had anything that was coming out was worthy of the industry. And the only thing, like I said before, I can't control the writing. Well, I literally can, but I can't raise or lower the capacity of my writing skill. So this is my first time. Throw me on the grill. Let's see what I smell like after I start cooking a bit. But I know the rest is turning out awesome, and I'm looking forward to complimenting the talent that I've surrounded myself with.
Real quick, just regarding writing, Ray, do you know who Mike Barron is?
I don't believe I do.
Well,
Badger Comics, Nexus Comics. From
Nexus
the
uh,
Comics
you were
sounds
just you
familiar.
were just born then, but
he wrote the Punisher for a while as well, right?
yes.
Okay.
Anyway, if you're ever looking for really great tips without like a lot of filler just to make longer videos, Mike Barron over on YouTube, go find him. He gives free writing tips. He's really fun and stuff
Awesome.
like that. So I would highly encourage you to go watch some of his videos. He's great. We love
Awesome.
Mike Barron.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah. So as you let everybody know about your Kickstarter and what you want them to do there, but if there is a secondary thing you want them to do, what would that be?
Well, I do have other ways you can contact me. So as already stated, you can see under my name in brackets there, DM Ray. DM is short for Dungeon Master. This entire comic is based off of the first homebrew D&D campaign that I ever ran, and you can find me on Facebook as DM Ray. You can find the Mad Caps Facebook page, but you can also find me on Instagram and on what I like to call Twixter. And they're both handles for those are Raymond the DM. Unfortunately, DM Ray was taken. And those are all of my socials currently at the moment. I'm looking to potentially starting a TikTok, but I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet. So as of right now, just the ones I stated. And yeah, anybody wants to hit me up for questions or anything. We got really cool add-ons coming on, which includes what can I give away in regards to information. You know what? We got plush tapestries that are coming out, aka blankets. And
Okay.
so some of
I
these
was like,
some of
what's
these
a plush
covers
tapestry?
so some of these covers look like paintings, yeah. So I wanted to blanket some you can hang up on a wall if you wanted to, or some you can cover yourself up with. In the first campaign, we had maps that we unlocked in a stretch goal, and it's maps of, or a map, I should say, of the area where this comic takes place. Well, I think that would look really cool hanging on a plush tapestry on a wall, or on my kid's bed or something like that. I think that would be really, really cool. Some of the covers, much like that stained glass cover that you like, I think that would also look good hanging on the wall with some light shining through it. I think that would be really, really neat. But there's lots of other cool stuff. Any RPGers out there, we've got character sheets coming for all 4 characters, which would be really, really neat. But yeah, and any way you want to get a hold of me, Facebook is DM Ray, Raymond the DM on X and Instagram, or Twixter and Instagram as I like to call it. Those
I
are all the
did
ways
want
you
to
can hold
draw.
me.
Yep.
What?
I did want to draw a comparison to Dungeons and Dragons, but I
Yes,
wasn't sure until you just said it, and the DM, Dungeon Master,
it
just nailed
clicks.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's
It
really interesting
did for me.
because the only thing I changed really out of the story is I took the players' characters out and I injected my own characters into it based off of the players, which is really neat. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Very
Yes.
cool. So, do you run your own game anymore?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've been a homebrew where everything is made by me. I'm not going off of any pre-made modules or anything. That way Hasbro can't sue me, of course. And that world, I've been doing different campaigns, one shots. I had one story we played for over 2 years.
Wow.
And it all exists in the same realm, and a slice of life of all of that time played is expressed in this comic book. So when you read it, you will, and Christy, you can confirm this. It definitely feels like the world existed before you started reading it, and it definitely feels like there's things going on outside of what you're reading, and it definitely feels like there's a world that exists after. And a lot of that has to do with all of the lore that my friends and I played out and crafted together, making this world while we were playing this game.
Very cool.
Fantastic.
Now,
You know,
do they
just
have? I'm
I'm
sorry.
yeah, just real quick. You are not the first guest on Creative Chaos that has done this, where you're
Mhm.
running a campaign and
Chris
you decide
Saloff,
to
did you
make a
have him
book
on
out
for
of it.
Crit?
What's that?
Did you have Chris Saloff for Crit?
No, off the top of my head, because I'm at least a decade. No, I'm not. I'm 8 years younger than you. I
Younger.
forget exactly. Older,
You're born
older.
in 92, I believe you.
No, 94. I was born in 94. 8 years older. It doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, I forget. I am trying to remember who I've had on, but same story, created the world, everybody's loving it. And his players made awesome characters. He asked, "Hey, should I turn this into a comic book?" And they're like, "Hell yeah, do it."
Yeah,
Anyway,
man. It's a good
I
time.
I would think it happens more often than we know.
Hmm. Yeah, I believe that.
Well, fantastic. You guys, I've dropped that link enough. And so go sign up for the Kickstarter. Ray just told you everywhere else that you can find him. Go follow him on X. He only has 5 followers right now. So go do that.
It'll pick up as we go. I've been kind of neglect have neglected X over the last little bit. I started the account and I wasn't sure what to do with it, but I'm gonna start putting more time into it for sure.
Well, fantastic. And you can always repost your TikToks if you get on TikTok and figure out what you're going to
Yes.
do over there as well.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. It was so great meeting you, Ray. And
Yes.
you're
Likewise.
going to stick around while we find out where you can find Bruce in Peru. Bruce. Batman. Batman?
Oh, I'm sorry. You cut out on me. I didn't hear you. Yes. Okay. Well, besides here on Thursday nights, Creative Chaos, you can also find me and Cosmic Grandpa on Three Beermen on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Big Apple time, 4 o'clock avocado time, right here on pill.net or Madness Comic Network. Check us out. You'll get to have some fun. The Sunday nights are free for all. Talk about beer, pop culture, and technology, and we hang out. And every now and then we have a special guest. So check us out.
Maybe me soon.
And maybe
Oh,
you soon.
I'm definitely interested. A story for another time.
Excellent.
you would
Excellent.
have a wonderful time. And I'm glad you brought that up and said, "Hey, have me on your show," because you're promoting, of course. I am
Absolutely.
wondering, do you already have your podcast lined up for when you're live?
You know what? You're not the first to ask, and I'm assuming I'm going to launch it with my publisher. That's what I did last time, and it worked out very nice. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it that way.
Fantastic, but nothing after?
Do you mean like
Like, your little publicity tour on
Oh,
the internet.
well, if I looked at my schedule right now, I'm definitely interested in coming on again. Um, I just want to count it out just because it makes me chuckle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I just hit number 30 between January and the end. Hold on. Yeah,
he got a
between
message.
January and the end of April, I've got an even 30 podcasts I'm lined up with.
Fantastic. If you ever need any leads on podcasts, just DM me.
Awesome. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Because, we all need to help each other out, like in networking and all that kind of stuff. So, I may have some suggestions for you. If you want them, you have to ask for them, though. I'm not just
Okay.
going to butt myself into your life.
Okay. I will follow up. That's great.
All right. All right. That sounds good. All right, you guys. And then as far as me, if you want to follow me personally, I am most active over there on the Twixter. And that you can find me at Kitty Flip City. You can also follow Flip City Magazine over there at Flip City Mag. I'm also on
And you can
Facebook.
subscribe.
Subscribe
And you
to
can
what?
subscribe to the magazine, Flip City
Oh,
Mag.
well, I'm getting there. Thank you, though. Go check out also our website, flipcitymag.com, and poke around over there. You can read our free magazine. You can sign up for our email list. You can link through to all of our social medias. Like, it's almost insane how many places we are across the Interzone, and gets overwhelming sometimes. But we are really working on our Substack for even more free content. You can subscribe to our Substack and get periodic notifications on what we've got going on. Flip City really is the mad and cracked magazine for now. So if you know what those things were, and you are a freedom-minded individual, I guarantee you're going to love Flip City Magazine. If you don't know what Mad and Cracked was, go check out Flip City Magazine and see what real satire is. That does
I
not
want to
take a
know.
side.
I want to know who the Alfred E. Newman of now is.
Kitty Phillips.
I didn't want to say it, but you did, so we're good now.
It is. Did you look at my profile?
I did,
Kitty?
yes.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, and that's kind of a newer development thanks to Batman, because we were thinking of who's going to be the Alfred E. Newman, and we were considering Kitty because she's a character and all that kind of good stuff. And then Batman, without knowing we were considering it, fed it back to us, and it's like, okay, sealed the deal. Kitty Phillips is the Alfred E. Newman, and I call her the foibly foil of Flip City Magazine. So she's got all kinds of foibles. You're muted.
The Femme Foyale.
Ooh, I like that better now.
The Femme Foyale.
Royale.
I am so mad right now because Kitty also occasionally will open the magazine. It's basically like a note from the editor, but it's Kitty. It's notes from Kitty.
Right.
And so I wrote that up, and she called herself the Foibly Foible. And I wish that I would have talked to you about it first, Batman. I should make you an editor.
The Femme Foyale. You can change it anytime.
I will.
You have my permission to use it. Go for it.
Thank you, dear. I love you so much. I
And
love
we
you
just
so
got a
much.
raid. Thank you. We just got a raid on pilled.net from a buddy of mine, CDP4JC. Thank you, CDP.
Hi, CDP, but that looks like that came from Classical Chick Stream forever and a day ago. Oh, you
really?
guys, I still need to set a raid over on Pilled, and I think I'm going to set it to Atomic Annie because I really, really love I love independent everything. Like, it's my freaking passion. And Atomic Annie has been doing independent music for a long time, at least half a decade, if not longer. So if you're watching over there on Pilled, stick around. After the stream is over, you're going to raid Atomic Annie, and they'll see that Flip City Magazine sent you. Something cool that I am doing tomorrow morning, you guys, over on Pilled, is I'm going to the No Prisoners podcast to do a Flip City FAFO. So the little easy thing that Ray just did for us, the branding segment, we're basically doing an entire hour, the last hour of Fun Friends Friday over on the No Prisoners podcast of Flip City live reads. We're going to be live reading. We're going to be live reading the DNC Pants Party. We're going to find out if everybody on the panel is a fascist or not. I'm assuming they all are. We're also going to be reading the parody of Jerks of Joke Island Meet Ancient Avians and a few other things. It is going to be an absolute blast with 451 Actual, Kevin, Coffee Talk with Sandra, Burt Cocaine. It's going to be awesome. So if you're over there on Pilled, remember, tomorrow morning, check out Fun Friends Friday. I'm going to be there the very last hour. I'm
That
super
sounds like a great
thrilled.
cast. Yeah, that
Oh,
sounds like a great mix of people.
it's going to be awesome. Oh yeah, we're reading also Woke World #1. So we're gonna get a little spicy tomorrow. I think that's what I've got for now, you guys. Of course, flipcitymag.com. Again, Ray, thank you so much for being here.
Happy
You're
to
so
be here.
nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You hung in there like a champ. And then you guys, of course, Creative Chaos will be back next week. I do not have my darn calendar. Oh, I do have my calendar up, so I can tell you who our guest is going to be. And that is going to be Dave Brink of Perfect 10. So this will be my very first time meeting Dave Brink as well. So tune in next week for that as I put him through all of the paces that we like to offer here on Creative Chaos. See you next week. And this is where we wave bye.
Okay, class. List everything insensitive, exclusionary, bigoted, nationalistic, misogynistic, and offensive that you can find in history's great myths and legends. Extra points for suffering panic attacks or emotional outbursts. Fact check every opinion against the lived experience of your comrades and allies, so you can avoid forming a criminal opinion. Scrutinize it cover to cover. Wrongthink, misgendering, dead naming, misinformation, microaggressions. Leave no page unturned.